baby, a movement. Man, JFK, banger right here. I wish Ty Dirty was here to see it. Let's go, let's go.
What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Rome, coming back at you again with another. Today, we're going to be talking about the case of Bryce Masters. And for those of you who don't know, it happened a while ago, but it was a white kid, a little teenager in high school, who got stopped by a police officer, and he was pulled over in his car on his way to a friend's house. And the officer pulled him over, didn't really tell him why he pulled him over. And he was basically telling him to get out of his car, didn't tell him why or anything like that. So the kid kept asking, am I under arrest? And this is what happened.
Get out. You really want to get tased right here in the middle of your car?
What?
Get your ass out now.
I haven't done anything, officer. I haven't done anything, officer. What? Am I under arrest?
Yes.
Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
Come out of the
Am
car.
I under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
Give me your hands. You're under arrest.
For what?
Yes.
For what?
Get your ass out of the
what?
car. All right, fine. Fuck it. Just get out. Out.
What?
Out right now. Out of the car. Out of the car. Taser deployment. On the ground. Out of the car. On the ground. On the ground. Ah! I told you. Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Stand up. Walk.
That's crazy. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear it while you listen, but if you hear that, that's the sound of the officer tasing him. He tased him for 25 seconds or more, right in the center of his chest, right at his heart almost. And he tased him for 25 seconds. And then you turn around and you tell him to get up and put his hands behind his back and all of that. And he can't walk. He's pretty much incapacitated. And you drag him to the curb and drop him face first with his hands cuffed behind his back. And if you listen closely, you can hear the smack of his face hitting the ground. That's crazy. And then you see him like kind of kick his body over further onto the curb. And then that's when, you hear him moaning and groaning. And, he suffered brain damage behind that. He almost died, And the thing is, I say all that to say this. I showed the video and all that. And, we know that bad cops are going to do bad things, regardless of color. We know it happens more in the black community than in the white community, but it happens, And the thing is, they do it more, it's disproportionate to black and brown for the simple fact we can't fight back legally. It's hard for the working class or the poor to get a fresh shake because we can't afford the lawyers, the good lawyers. We get stuck with the public pretenders. Excuse me. The public defenders who are buddy with the judges and the prosecuting attorneys. So they can't really represent you the way they should because those are their buddies. They're going to try to get you to take a plea deal. And, when you don't, you could be innocent. And they'll still tell you, well, just plead to this, to get it over with. And it doesn't make sense. But again, I say, in the case of Bryce Masters, this guy, his father, just so happened to be a police officer. So he comes to the scene of his son, where his son was tased and almost killed. Him and his wife come to the scene. His mom jumps in the ambulance, goes to the hospital with him. His dad stays behind to watch the investigation unfold. Now, like I said, his dad is a police officer. And the difference is, like I said, when you poor, you can't fight. You don't have the lawyers, you know. So this guy he calls up the FBI and tells the FBI what just happened to his son. And because he had the access to the FBI, once they heard what was going on, they got involved and they investigated the case. And the police officer, the father, decides he looks at the report and everything that the officer did and points out the key words that officers use to get off of cases like that, to get off on cases like that. You know, first thing he said was that he was resisting. But that's one of the key words that he pointed out that the officer used, which is what they always use. You're always resisting. He was resisting. But once they reviewed the tape, then they saw he wasn't resisting. And how can you resist something? How can you resist when you're not under arrest? You can't tell me I'm resisting arrest if I'm not under arrest. So how could I be resisting arrest if I'm not under arrest? Doesn't make sense. So that went to the wayside. So the next thing he said was, I smelled marijuana. Really? Now, unfortunately, they did find a little roach of a joint or a blunt. I don't know which one it was, but it was some marijuana found. But it was such a minute amount that it really didn't add up to why you were trying to arrest him. So that fell off. You know, so he basically was just trying to grasp at straws to say why, to prove why he took it to the level that he did. So he could point it out now when it's his son. But all the while, this stuff has been going on with other people's sons, other people's daughters. But because it's not hitting at home, it doesn't matter. You don't expose that. But when it happens to you, now you can expose it. That's crazy. But this just goes to show you that blue wall of silence. It doesn't affect you until it affects you. It's crazy. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Peace.
Feeling the wind, all the D's are watch. I'm feeling the wind, senoritas are rock. I'm feeling the wind, middle of the map, nice. Summer on smash, middle of the map, guys.